When you went out to the polls on Tuesday, or maybe you voted early, you might not have been thinking about all the things happening behind the scenes to ensure a safe and secure election. But these three people were.
We're going to start kind of big and broad. When we have something like a general election, when does the work start to prepare for that?
Probably 6 months.
6 months to a year before, because it's all kind of part and parcel, the whole cycle. Both primary just flows into general. There's many things that are building blocks that we take care of 6 months ahead of the primary that are going to establish how things go in the fall. But certainly in earnest, as soon as the primary is done, we're preparing for the general election. So
and probably a year in advance, we already have asked vote centers if they're willing to do it, the election.
And I start lining up key people in May as soon as primary is over too.
Yeah, as soon as that registration deadline opens after the election, I mean, registrations, applications for absentee ballots start to pour in. So that's opens the ball for the desk work, essentially.
And what is the workforce behind that? How many volunteers, how many people does it take to make an election like this in Tippecanoe County happen?
For this general election, there were over 300 folks that we took on for either seasonal or day of work. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of recruitment and managing. Yeah.
It's a presidential election, so yes, it will be the largest. But think about it. It's not only people that are working the polls. It is people that are helping deliver machines, pick up machines. It's people to help process the paperwork up here. It's people going out into the field to make sure that things are set up and that are running. And it's even a team of people that go out for when there's issues on election day or early voting, sending them out as well.
We have a whole month of early voting we have to staff.
And really, a lot of hours begin probably 1 to 2 weeks before we start mailing out ballots. A lot of people forget that. So it's September is really when we start putting in lots of hours, because you have to get that ballot, all the ballot styles. You need to make sure that they're all correct. You need to make sure all the names are spelled correctly. And if you remember this year, it took a little longer to get the certified list of candidates. And so we were really that week before, and we have a deadline. Every ballot that has been requested, if we have that application, must be sent out by, it's basically the second Saturday, I believe, in September. So we have to be completely ready for that. And then it is just gung-ho nonstop from that moment on.
And that kind of leads into my next one, which is, what are the things that are going on behind the scenes that the folks that, the voters that are going to the vote center, they're casting their ballot, might not be thinking about, but all of these things behind the scenes had to happen for them to be able to be there?
A couple of the big tasks would be ballot proofing, preparing and certifying and then proofreading every ballot, every ballot style that anybody could ever possibly see in the permutations of this county. There's over 100 precincts, so there's all these different combinations of districts and candidates. And so there's a ballot that goes on the machines that you see on election day or during early voting, and there's also the paper ballot that folks that vote absentee. So there's two sets of these ballots that need proof, and that takes some time.
And for an example, it's like the school board races. You might have TSC, you might have West Lafayette, you might have LSC. We have to make sure that the people are in the right district, so they're getting the right ballot. So that takes work too. Sometimes it's literally by looking at an entire row of houses on a road to make sure, are they in the right district?
Also registrations, people, it's no secret, people like to wait till the last minute to submit the registrations. We've got to make sure that, we've completed all of our registrations for people who want to vote early, and people who have not completed the registrations accurately. We need to get a hold of these people, make sure they're understanding your application's not complete, so that they can go to the polls. So there's a lot of last minute stuff happening with especially the deadline being so close to when voting starts. So
we make lots of phone calls. We're calling these voters to make sure we have their information is correct.
And with all of these moving pieces, with all of this behind the scenes work and all of these long hours, who are some of the people that really helped ensure that this election happened. It was smooth, it was secure, all of those things that are so important for our democracy.
Where you're looking at them here, number one, these guys, and of course we have Ray too. So they're all play a huge part in making that happen. But then it starts with the vote centers. The fact that we have these vote centers and that these
Our
places,
hosts.
they're willing to have us literally disrupt their day or days. You know, some of these vote centers literally had us from all the way from Tuesday to Saturday, and then again on election day. Their willingness to do that, that's huge. And then you have my clerks. We pull over my clerks that come over here. We pull poll workers, but we have people that not are only working the polls. We have people up here processing. Just to process an absentee ballot takes quite a bit because you've got to put them in all in alphabetical order. You got to find their original application. You have to match their signatures to make sure that that person that voted matches the signature of the person on file with the voter registration in order so it be counted. So if there is an issue, that goes in a whole nother process. And to make sure that was this the correct voter. So we check signatures. Then they have to be put in order of precinct before we can scan them and even tally them. So it is a lot of work. And if you can imagine this, we had several thousand ballots that came in.
Over 4,000 mail ballots.
So that alone is a lot of work. And then just imagine the delivery and then bringing back. Everything has to be in sequential order, meaning what gets delivered, you've got to pack the truck in the right delivery order. And then when it all comes back, we have to account for every single machine. So we're looking at serial numbers. We put out, just election day was 266 machines and early voting.
Plus your e-poll books,
And then you got e-poll books as well.
which deprogram.
And you have to make sure that all the supplies that they need and all the forms that they could need, every scenario you can think of. And of course, can't forget the I voted stickers.
Those are my favorite part.
There's so much. We couldn't even tell you all that. And then when it's long days like that, we need to make sure that everybody has something to drink and something to eat. So we also have to think about that too on election day. So, it's a lot of work.
And I remember being in the county building on election night and around midnight when they came down and said, folks, we need to let these people sleep. They have been going, and they would continue to go, but we're telling them, go to sleep.
Yeah, those that are scanning, that's Microvote. That's our vendor for our election machines. And so there are scanners. So those gentlemen joined us at 5 in the morning. So remember, we open the polls at 5. So everybody has to get up before that. And Microvote joined us. They're out there helping to make sure that they're opening and that it's seamless, that there's no problems. And then they come in and then they start scanning each card one by one, so over 4,000. And then when the machines start coming back, they've got to scan those as well. And some of the people that worked the polls came back here after 6 or probably 7. Then they worked till probably 10:30, 11 to get other things that needed to get done. They helped us bring it. So while what you're seeing in the room, you're looking for results. What's happening behind the scenes, machines are coming back already. They're being placed in a room to be put away, and then you've got e-poll box coming back and all the paperwork. And some of that paperwork is really important. If they want to get paid, we need the expense sheets. We literally, even the number of cards that go out, like vote cards or supervisor cards, we count them when they come back. So it's a very, very organized delivery of everything that had gone out, so we can account for it all. So people help us with that, and it's all there's an R and a D that work side by side on every step that we do.
One of the other things is when the machines are coming back, like Julie says, we're checking the serial numbers and things like this, but we're also cross-checking check-ins on the e-poll book versus number of votes cast on each machine. Every site has to balance. Yeah. We're also checking the paperwork that the tapes from every machine match the serial numbers on the machines and the tally cards. And so there's 3 or 4 different cross-checks to ensure that the election has its integrity and that the numbers align. And then only after that check-in can the votes start to be tabbed from that particular center. So there's a whole process that the Chief Deputy Clerk, Diana Zahn, oversees at check-in with a team of a bipartisan team. And she's got this down to a science. She's done this selflessly for years. And but it's very tedious and it's very exacting because we want to be able to say, you know, we believe in our process, and we can be assured that our results are correct.
Yeah, so we audit just about everything, but we also work as a team. So we get help from one of the commissioners. One of the commissioners' staff members. He used to work up here. We got to use him for weeks, and then
County assessor.
Tima let us use a truck. So we were able to use a truck for early voting, and then you had our IT department. We trained them on how to do some of the maintenance of the machines, and so they've been helping us for weeks as well. They put up, and by the way, they also put up cameras in all the rooms where there's any absentee work going on, so that everything is filmed. And
Eric Grossman, our county assessor, gives up office space. They temporarily relocate so that we can use their rooms during the final days.
And they also helped us with, we had an app online where people could go on to see, well, how many votes people have voted on different places, some of the vote centers, but the wait time, they could just go and see, well, how long is the line over here? Maybe I better go over there. And it was the assessor's office that helped us set that up. So it's a lot of teamwork. And of course,
Absolutely.
Again, to mention my clerks, the clerks, many of them worked overtime as well. So they'd come over here, and then they'd have to go back over to the courthouse and do their job. But many of them worked overtime, worked the weekends. It's just a lot of teamwork in the whole county. Can you think of anybody else that helped us? We have to call the sheriff too.
Oh, yeah.
The sheriff helped us. They all knew where our vote centers were, so that we could make sure everything was, if there were any incidences, they were close by.
And they provide security on election night.
Yep.
We had five deputies here.
Also, the USPS, the mail folks.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one, yes.
Making sure we got our absentee ballots on election day or before, make sure we get the right, we get to there, and they go in, they have to go to the actual facility and bring them to us so that we can make sure we get folks' ballots in on time.
Yeah, USPS literally made deliveries to us on election day several times to get those ballots to us. They really care about those ballots. Mm-hmm. They want to get them here on time. And so they were a great team member.
It sounds like it is just a all hands on deck. Everyone in the county that can help is helping.
I also want to say, I know it is talking about team. I'm just like, but the HR and the auditors department also lend a lot of administrative support.
Yes.
Because they're processing all these temporary seasonal workers to get them paid for me, and they do it with a smile and help facilitate this. And taking somebody on for 30 days or even just paying somebody for 1 day's work, it's a lot of paperwork.
Well, it reminds me too, the commissioners themselves, they made Election Day a holiday here.
Thank you. Yes.
And not only did that really open up the whole building for us to use on Election Day, but it gave us people that work for the county, it gave them the day off so they could work for us. So many of them continued to work. Many of them were poll workers. Many of them were up here.
We had about 30 county employees do that.
Yeah.
And I was bouncing around to different polling stations during early voting, during election day itself, and people seemed happy and excited, and lines were really short. Almost everywhere I went, there was one day where the line here, it was Monday, line was down, but they were moving and cruising. It was hard to get interviews with people.
Yes, on that Monday before, yeah, they did a great job down there. It was a great team, and they processed them. They did a great job.
Yeah, they did over 1,000 in just a little over 4 hours.
Yep.
And so with that, what are you guys' emotions right now?
We're not really done. We still have provisionals, and so we have to do our write-ins, and we have to do our paperwork for the Secretary of State's office. We have to prepare for a public certification meeting.
We have to figure out how much the election costs.
Yes, we have to run our expenses through, pay the bills, pay our vendors.
It's not really done for us until the 15th of November. That's the day we certify the election. And so we had 137 provisionals. We had 25 ballots that need signature cures, and then we have 9 other ballots that we missed. We didn't have them early enough. We get so much that comes in the office in bags from different vote centers. So we have another 9 ballots to count. So all of that will be done on the 15th of November. And then we can say the cycle for Election Day is finished.
So ask you how you're feeling on the 16th.
That would be a Saturday. That would be a good day to ask.
Yeah, but we feel good today. I mean, it's just,
I'm very proud of all the work that the folks put in, and I can't thank the community enough. We have so many civic-minded people, and just so many people that give of themselves.
and the voters were just very courteous. During early voting, we had
Lots of
long lines,
goodwill.
and the majority of them were just very understanding, very nice, and we appreciate them so much.
We had our second highest turnout for early voting that we've ever had in this county for this election. So it was a little bit unprecedented, a little bit above forecast, but we had over 40,000 folks vote in person early, which is the second highest number of folks that we've ever seen in this county come out early.
I think one of the things I enjoy seeing after elections, I get overseas folks and people. What's encouraging, and I want people to remember that regardless of whichever way it went for you, it's encouraging to know that people still appreciate the fact that they got to vote at all, that it happened at all, that they were given the opportunity. And so it's very encouraging when people say thank you for everything that you do, and to giving us the opportunity to actually vote, and no one's bothered by either whichever way it went for you. It's the fact that you're able to do this, and we're able to provide this for the voters. So,
Had a privilege of serving somebody whose birthday was going to be Election Day, and then I also had the privilege of serving a 102-year-old woman. So you get to see everything. It's really remarkable.
And the reason that we get to vote is because of our military that have fought, and 11/11 is coming up, and it's
Veterans Day, yeah.
We have a lot of unsung heroes here.
And one of the things that I think that I talked to you guys about a while ago is that in Indiana, the Secretary of State has sent out all of these things of go volunteer, but here in Tippecanoe County, correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm remembering this wrong, but we have a surplus of people that want to volunteer to help. What does that mean? How does that feel?
Mike does that. Mike hires everybody.
I think that what that means is that we just have a community that cares, and that they're engaged, and they want to be part of the process. It's really terrific. I talk to friends around the state, and they struggle. I will say we exhausted our surplus this year because we had to keep throwing resources at it. So we were stretched a little bit, but it's great because I was still getting people to step up even the night before, because inevitably, you have family emergencies or something like that prevents somebody from going. And so I have people that talk about unsung hero. You want to get that call at 4 a.m. Hey, so-and-so is sick.
We need you.
Their kid's sick. They're taking them to ER. I need somebody to cover out Shaveland Town Hall, So, waking somebody up to drive across the county at 4 a.m, but these people were willing to do that. So it's just, we just live in an amazing place. I think everybody that lives here knows what an amazing place it is. And also a big shout out to Julie Roush. She works extremely hard, provides great leadership, superb organizational skills, and a big cheerleader for everybody. So we never lack for coffee, and we never lack for snacks.
I'm going to ask you guys my favorite one. What if I not ask you that is important for folks to know today?
I would maybe include that, with all the worry and election security and integrity, if we haven't touched on enough, that our elections were conducted with the highest integrity, and we did ensure the security of our elections. We have a robust IT department that ensures and helps us with any issues we may find, or it never fails to provide us with safety measures and things to watch out for and look over. So, just give people the confidence that our elections were secure.
From all of us here at Star City News, thank you to the 300 plus people who ensured a safe, secure election here in Tippecanoe County. And make sure to tune in every Thursday for the Hometown Hero. Emily Slater, Star City News, Lafayette.
used to watch that in extended care.
Those are great.
They were.
They're fantastic. And we have you in focus, and we're ready to rock and roll.
All right.